Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to my channel. My name is Showtime Dom, and I am a foundational Black American. So I'm entrenched in hip hop culture, rap culture, things of that nature. So that's what I want to talk about. And I think it's good to get a different perspective. I am not, and never have been, a street person. That is not my card. I never was. Obviously, my family, I know people that do things, but that wasn't my thing. I was a little different. I was always the person that was in the books and being a little bit more nerdy. I was cool. I was cool. Did nobody mess with me because I kind of handled my own. I did my own thing, and I got a brother that's 6 years older than me, so I was cool. But I'm not a street person. So any perspective that I provide or opinion that I have is not from somebody that was in the streets. Obviously, I've been around the world. I've seen a few things, since the Baldy lover. So my I think my perspective can go a long way. So one thing I want to talk about is the Munchie bee controversy. Uh, so that's a disclaimer here. I I am not about gang politics or gang culture. I honestly think it is idiotic and it's a waste of people's lives and potential. I do respect the individuals that are a part of it. As a foundational Black American, I feel like there are riders, right? If something were to happen, if there were a war or something like that, God forbid, I hope that's not the case, like a race war in America, we're going to need these people that you may look at as like gangbangers and they're not smart and things of that nature, but there's a time and a place for everything. So I'm not disrespecting anybody, but I do want to say his comments were very idiotic. He came out on a podcast saying that, kind of dissing Drakeo the ruler because they had some beef prior to Drakeo passing. So he came out on a podcast, a national podcast. I think it was Clubhouse or something like that, and somebody brought up Drakeo's name, and Munchie B just took offense to it. He said he was just irate about it essentially. And if you know anything about anything, Munchie B, he likes to drink a little bit. I like to drink too, but he likes to drink and he gets a little belligerent, and I think his ego really essentially comes to the forefront once he's drunk. And he may have seen some things. He's probably drinking the mask. I think he's been shot like 7 times. The man probably needs therapy. There's a reason why he's drinking. Like, let's be honest. But he was on the podcast. Somebody brought up Drakeo's name, and then he just started dissing Drakeo. And he honestly just started dissing Ralphie the Plug too. He said, "Hey, I said f this person, f Drakeo, on the Tuesday show, something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Go look it up if you want." And then his brother was up there on the Thursday show. His brother didn't say nothing. His brother didn't do nothing. And then I was back up there on the Friday show. So the fact that you bringing up Drakeo name, nobody care because Drakeo was resting. He didn't use those words. Drakeo was resting. Don't nobody care what you talking about. You're not from here. You don't know what you're talking about. I passed the bottle to the person that unalived Drakeo. Me and him is homeboys essentially. We cool really. So he really just jumped out the window. And, I have a brother, right? And I feel like that kind of puts Ralphie in a pretty tough spot because I like to think, I'm a veteran. I served for my country. I fought for my country. I would damn sure fight for my family. Like, if I could go fight for my country, I can go fight for my family. I'm willing to put my life on the line for my family, no matter what, no hesitation, no questions, no nothing. I will do that. And I'm sure Ralphie probably feels the same way. They're not gang affiliated. I'm pretty sure Ralphie's not in the gang. I think they're non affiliates, honestly. So it's kind of a tough spot. Like, are you going to go to war with the whole Inglewood gang? Like, so it's kind of putting him in a tough spot because yeah, I want to be there for my brother, protect my brother, and do those things, but it is going to cost me my life. And then maybe he had conversations with his brother about the way that he was moving. He's not gang affiliated. Why are you beefing with this gang? Yeah, I know you got some money. With money comes some power. With power comes respect. I get that. Like you starting your own little thing, this thing team, cool. But ultimately, ended up putting you in a position where it cost you your life. So now Ralphie is kind of left holding the bag because Munchie is pretty much bringing him into it, throwing his name in this, and he has nothing to do with it really. I mean, it is his brother, and who don't want to ride for their brother. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, he made a decision that he felt like was best for him because his brother was moving differently, probably than what he would have liked. so, so, and then come to find out, that statement that Munchie B made about him sharing bottles with the person that unalived Drakeo the ruler and all this kind of came out to where Poetic Flakko put up a post like, hey, you know, I have essentially a documentary that I want to drop that discusses who's the killer of the person that unalived Drakeo the ruler. That the police are actually building up a RICO, so they're sweeping in multiple people into the situation, and that they're going to be doing arrests later down the line. And if they don't do anything more quickly, I'm going to let it be known. I'm going to drop it on Friday, something like that. He just talking big talk, you know? So he pretty much came out and said, hey, I'm going to release that. I'm going to let people know. And while this is important, Poetic Flakko and Munchie kind of have a beef going. They have some weird thing going where I don't know exactly what happened, but I know Munchie B tried to like dox Poetic Flakko, but he kind of like altered the paperwork or did something with the paperwork. And in the documentation, it had Poetic Flacco's last name. And you can get his last name. I think it was like Jalal, something like that. It had his last name, and I think he marked out the first name. So it made it seem like, you know, Poetic Flakko got some charges on there with minors. He got some charges that he's fighting, some pending cases that he's fighting, something that he's fighting. So he's bringing his family into it, essentially. But then comes to find out that paperwork is actually for somebody that's in his family, like an uncle or brother or someone like that. I don't have the details there, but maybe we'll talk about it on the next video. So they kind of have a little bit of beef going where this person essentially tried to ruin Poetic Flacco's career. And I'm pretty sure at the time Flacco was actually living in LA. So, like, if you have charges like that, you ain't really just going to be walking around. You're not welcomed anywhere. Like, that's kind of a big deal. People can hurt you because you have charges like that, especially if you're an online personality and you're talking your big talk. People are going to come at you probably. So they have a little bit of a beef going. So Munchie being Poetic Flacco, I think they're on the outs, honestly, even though they both kind of work at no jumper. And I think this is a way of Flacco kind of getting back at Munchie B, but in a big way, right? He ain't just trying to defame him. He's trying to send him and his people to jail. He ain't just trying to defame him. So I think this is really content for Flacco because he going to get the content. He going to run up the numbers. He doing his thing. If you like him or if you don't, it is what it is. It's a jab at Munchie because Munchie beefing with Flacco. And honestly, it's justice for Drakeo, right? At the end of the day, it is justice. I'm not a part of the streets. Like, if someone was unalived, I want justice for them and their families. Like, no matter what you did, I do have some exceptions. We're not going to speak to it now, but I got some exceptions. But outside of that, like, you deserve justice. if you are unalived or if anyone in your family is unalived. So I do think it is good if this information comes out so this can actually put kind of a bow and just close that chapter for Drakeo's family. But you guys let me know what you think in the comment section. Is Flakko wrong for this? Like, is he like the new police? I think he worked with the police, honestly, if he has all this information. Was Munchie B wrong? Because Munchie B is the gang member, right? He's the person that's maybe he ain't actively gang banging because he is impaired, but he is the gang member. He lives by a certain code that he has to, live by and navigate through. But he's online nationally. I do not live in California. I'm nowhere near California, and I know about this story because of him. It's kind of resurfacing because of Munchie B. Like he kind of got put in a trick bag because somebody showed up in one of his rooms and started talking, and it's recorded, and the next thing you know, it's out. So who you let me know who you think is right or wrong in this situation, and are you looking forward? Because this is the big question. Are you looking forward to some justice for Drakeo? Again, I know I'm not a part of the political BS or none of that stuff, but somebody did lose their life, and I'm rooting for justice in this situation. But it's showtime. I'm checking out. Y'all let me know what y'all think in the comment sections below.